Please help me welcome Kevin to talk to us about implementation of LEAP principles. Kevin?
Thank you. Thank you, Cliff. Thank you. I got more equipment on me right now than. So I'm quite excited about this because we always have to walk in each other's shoes, right? So a guy from a lumber company being introduced in a grand cathedral by a Steinway piano, that's actually never happened to me before. So I won't be long this morning because we're all busy, but share a few thoughts. And the first one is thank you. On two fronts. Thank you for inviting me, was honored, and then thank you for what you do. There's a lot of good work, a lot of good people in this room, a lot of good organizations. And I'm always a little, not a little, but humbled when I'm asked to talk about something we're doing, because it doesn't mean I think it's special in that it's more important than what you're doing. Everyone here has got a really important story to tell and makes a great contribution to the state. So having said that, let me say this. I think Maine is a great place to do business. I think it's a great place to do business. And that's not to say there aren't always issues that could make it even better. But when you look at all of the places on the planet where you could live, work, have a business, I'm good. I like it right here. And I say that, why do I say that? Why do I think it's a great place to work? Well, far and away, the first reason is people. This state is just filled with really great people. The second reason I think it's a great place to work and to have a company is intimacy. Everybody can know everybody in this state. And we probably take that for granted, but I think globally, that's unusual. So that's really cool. And then third, of course, is the quality of life and to be able to live in such a beautiful, diverse place. So sure, it could be really better, but this is a great place to live, work, and run a company. And I feel really blessed that I'm here. So Hancock Lumber in 30 seconds, 1848 to the present in 30 seconds. So our company began doing business in 1848. My first job after college, I taught history at Bridgeton Academy. So the way I put 1848 in historical perspective is prior to the first cannonball being fired in the Civil War, Hancock Lumber was in business, based in Casco, has been in the same business, owned by the same family, uninterrupted ever since. Which is kind of... There's a lot goes into that. A lot of things go into that make you feel blessed, but it's not normal. And I'm proud to be part of the 6th generation of my family to work for the company. And the most important word in that sentence to me is for. Work for the company. We have 435 employees. We'll do this year about $130 million in sales. We have 10 stores, 9 in Maine, 1 in New Hampshire. We have 3 mills, Casco, Bethel, and Pittsfield, that make boards out of eastern white pine that we ship all over the world. So our biggest customer is Lowe's. We supply, I love this, we supply every Lowe's store from Bangor to North Carolina up and down the East Coast with a resource that's thank you. With a resource that's grown in Maine and made in Maine. Love that. I love that. And then we grow trees, so we own timberland. Primary species of tree that grows on our land is the eastern white pine tree. You know how long it takes to grow one? Anybody know? Yeah, it takes 80 to 100 years. It's the craziest business we're in. No, seriously, think about it. It doesn't even make sense. So we've had 2 crops. You know, my friend from the other side of the town, I'm so jealous, they grow pumpkins. But that really has influenced the way our company thinks. You couldn't be in the business of growing pine trees without thinking long-term more than short-term. You have to think long-term. So I'm going to talk just for a couple minutes, as I was asked to, about lean organizations, which to me are organizations that are focused, that are efficient, that are accurate, that are agile, that are responsive, and that are fun, and that are constantly improving. See if this works. This is one of my favorite little quotes. And like most favorite little quotes, it's so much easier to say than do. But we talk about this all the time in Hancock Lumber. Don't confuse being busy with being successful. It's really easy in the lumber business, in our business, I'm sure in yours. It's really easy to be busy. And in fact, one of the ideas I wanted to share today is being busy in a state of rugged individuals where it's almost like the more we suffer, the better we're doing. The earlier we get up, the more lunches we skip, the more work we do at home, right? This is what's happening, not just in Maine, but to all of us in organizations. It's almost like we've got to transcend the notion that that's noble, that that's what's supposed to happen. One of my big motivators in work is to put the work back in its place. Where it's important, really important, we're committed, we're serious, we're gonna work hard, but it's not going to consume us. So we're working on figuring out how people, I love simple goals that everybody would be like, yeah, I'll help with that. So here's our big goal at Hancock Lumber. Putting the people on our team in a position to work less and earn more. How's that sound? Because I think when people talk about lean and process improvement and becoming more efficient, the key concept that I think has to come out for everyone on the team to embrace it is it's not just for the purpose of making more money. It's not just for the purpose of making more widgets. It's for the purpose of making people's lives better. So when an organization, here's my favorite question at Hancock Lumber. I go around, you can come with me someday, it'd be fun. I go around with a blank sheet of paper and sit with people and ask them this question. Say, I don't mean to bother you, but I'm just curious. Does anything ever waste your time? That's the first thing that happens. People chuckle. They're like, oh my word, you have to be kidding. But then when you actually get people, so then I say, well, okay, just humor me for a second. Go, I'll do what you're doing. You go sit down for 5 minutes and make a list of everything that wastes your time. And people can, in 5 minutes, fill a page. Right? And that's really what lean is about, is getting everybody to think about what wastes time and everyone to believe that they can be an important participant in making it different, that it doesn't actually have to always be that way, that it can be different. When you think about waste or inefficiency, when your organization gets behind, or it gets disorganized, or the work gets messed up, or it's late, or it's wrong, how does that make you feel? Good or bad, right? People don't like it. It makes people uncomfortable. It's stressful. Because people want to do a good job. They want things to go well. So when an organization is not lean, who pays the price for that? Well, everybody does. The company does, the employees do, the suppliers do, the customers do, and when you look at it on a macro level, society does. Conversely, when an organization is efficient and things are smooth and easy, who benefits? Everybody does. And it's in that context that lean can become fun, not just about making more widgets or making more money, but about putting the work back in its place. I'll give you 2 quick examples at Hancock Lumber, things we've actually been able to do. This first slide is measuring credits or rework. So contractors call our store, place an order, we deliver the product to the construction site. In 2006, 10% of the time, some part of that work had to come back. Wasn't the right product, not enough product, too much product, incorrectly billed, not on the right PO or job. 10% of the time, there was rework. In 2014, less than, 3.79% of the time there was rework. So we've cut rework by 60%. Nobody, because it's like, this is, questions like lawyers, right? They say never ask a question they don't know the answer to. So you go into a room full of people and say, who enjoys rework? Raise your hand. Nobody does. Nobody does. Here's another example. So this is journey value. So we got looking, when we got looking at data, one of the things that stood out, contractors building a house, we're supplying the materials, how many times are we coming to the job site? So on a typical house, say a new Cape or a Colonial, we were coming to the job site 50 to 70 times. Right. Why? Because the customer asked us to. So we'd convinced ourselves that was in the name of outstanding customer service. Anytime you need anything, just call us and boom, we'll be there. And of course there are emergencies. But we got looking at, who wins in that model? So every builder we work with on their website, it promotes how green they are. One thing people never think about in green construction is the logistics involved in getting it done. So we went to work with our customers, not just with our own staff, but with our customers to say, does this make sense? Do you want 60 invoices instead of 30? Do you want 60 job site interruptions instead of 20? And the answer was no. So we got them involved. When we finish a project now with one of our builders, they get the information, the efficiency information about supplying their job. How many deliveries it took, how much product was on a truck, how much credits and rework there were. And one thing that we've really learned there is when you get to truly be lean, you've got to get the whole system involved. The vendor, your partners have to be involved, your customers have to be involved, and the results of this to us have been stunning. So we're shipping on our trucks about $64 million a year in sales right now. 2 years ago, if you looked at the average dollar volume of what was on a truck, we would have had to leave one of our stores 25,227 times to get $64 million in product out. Last year, it only took 15,000 trips. So we freed up 10,000 trips. Just one little company in Maine. And as a result, our customer service improved because all of a sudden, trucks are now available. They're not booked for 5 days. And people aren't running in saying, the easy thing to do, this is kind of the essence of anti-lean, right? The first reaction to 2012 is, what do we do? Well, we just need more trucks. Right? Because that's except for writing the check, that's easier. But we didn't need more trucks. We needed more efficiency. So lean's a lot of different things to a lot of different people, but here's kind of how I think about it. Lean is empowering every member of the team, to eliminate waste wherever they see it, to focus on the customer in a continuous improvement mode. And my big point is the last line there. Not just for the benefit of the mothership or the company, but for your own benefit, for the benefit of everybody. And we've done, so last year for the first time, I think this is the first time a forest products company in Maine was ever selected as a best place to work. You know that best place to work? There are 49,000 companies in Maine. 70 were selected as a best place to work. And last year, for the first time, Hancock Lumber was one of them, and we were the only forest products company on the list. So these are guys and girls working in sawmills, working in lumber yards, and the way the best place to work system works is it's 100% based on how the people who work at the company feel about the company. It's not like Kevin Hancock writing an essay about why he loves Hancock Lumber. Everybody in the company takes a third-party survey, and they describe what it's like to work there. And only when the group is highly, highly engaged by their own definition can you become a best place to work. Now, I don't know if you can read this, and if you email me at khancock@hancocklumber.com on any subject, I'll follow up, but I can send you this. We've learned from those surveys that if members of the team will strongly agree with these 7 sentences, they are highly engaged, they're committed. I enjoy my coworkers and feel supported by my team. We have fun at work. I feel my work is valued and appreciated. Recognition is a daily event. I'm encouraged to learn, grow, and develop new skills. A strong culture of communication exists within my organization and across the team. My ideas on improving our company are sought out and valued. I'm proud of the products and services our company provides, and I would definitely recommend employment at Hancock Lumber to a friend. And I love the, not because I said it, but I just like what it represents, the quote at the bottom. Our employees don't work for Hancock Lumber. They are Hancock Lumber. People come up to me, right, and they'll come up to the boss and say, you know, they'll grab me and say, the company should do this. The company should do that. And I often play along, I always play along with that. I'm like, that's a great idea. Love that idea. I've got a couple minutes. Come with me. Let's go tell the company. I'll follow after you. After you. So I think, and I'll kind of close with just a couple thoughts here. So I think the key ingredient, I've been thinking a lot about leadership, especially since we started to embrace lean, and I really feel the key ingredient to leadership in the modern world is giving away power for those that have it to let it go. It's restraint. I always say the managers, the boss gets first dibs on all the work, on all the meeting agendas, on all the talk time. And what I've really tried to do, sounds funny, but it's powerful, is less. Talk less. Do less. Decide less. And put that responsibility really with the people who are actually doing the work and actually know. And so I think the most powerful ingredient in leadership is restraint. And I think the reason the timing for this is so good is that well, this kind of goes back to my experiences at Pine Ridge, which would be another fun thing to come talk about someday, but that wasn't what I asked to talk about today. But the age of Aquarius has dawned. You might not always hear that at a chamber breakfast, but the age of Aquarius has dawned. literally, and figuratively, this is what it's about. It's a long period. It's going to take hundreds of years. But if you think about what's happening in the world, you can see this. There is a shift occurring, which is really exciting. From the organization holding all the power to individuals having the power. And the organizations that fight that, whether they're in business or the Middle East or wherever they are on an Indian reservation in South Dakota, if you fight that, you're just going to end up fighting. And the organizations that embrace that, I think, are the ones that are really going to flourish. I always love to think about the ideal state, which is an organization where everybody leads. And I think an organization where everybody leads will, in the long run, pretty much always beat organizations where a few lead. Easier said than done. Lots that goes into that, but in a 20-minute talk, that's about all I get. So I'll end where I started. Thank you. It's really an honor to be invited. I appreciate you coming to listen, and thank you to you for the things you're working on, the things you're doing, and the things you care about. I love the intimacy of Maine. Have a great day. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I'm taken by a couple of things. Obviously, people are everything. Another thing that Kevin showed that's part of this process is what gets measured gets done. And they're measuring, you have to measure the right things, and then you concentrate on it. As a token of our appreciation, a famous chamber mug that are coveted by all.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. This was great. Good. Thank you.